With a lot of studies indicating the success of a ketogenic diet for weight loss and management of other chronic disorders such as diabetes, there are other studies that have concluded otherwise. One of the concerns of these studies that comes out clearly is sustainability and nutritional deficiencies. My name is Lilian Mumina. I am a registered clinical nutritionist, and in today's video we're going to talk about how to get into ketosis in the safest and the healthiest way possible. The main goal of a ketogenic diet is to reduce insulin secretion, and this will basically promote fat burning, reduce fat storage. So the first thing that you need to understand is that nutritional ketosis is very safe if done correctly. It is not like ketoacidosis. The main difference is that the ketones that are produced in nutritional ketosis are usually lower. The first and the most important thing that you can do to get into ketosis fast is reduce your intake of carbohydrates if you are to reduce secretions of insulin. Insulin is the hormone that is produced when the body takes up carbohydrates and other nutrients such as proteins that are going to release glucose into the system. Of course, when you come to me as a dietitian and you tell me, Mumina, my main interest is actually to get into ketosis, we will start on a gradual process because we want to ensure that this thing is as sustainable as it can be. Because if we jump into it, one thing we are sure about is that it will not be sustainable. It's like addiction. When you're trying to manage addiction, you're not supposed to take away the drugs or take away the alcohol or the cigarettes immediately because the body will react. The reactions might be too much for this person to take up and they end up sleeping. We reduce carbohydrates by reducing the intake of refined and processed carbohydrates and prioritizing intake of whole grains. It will help us in controlling and regulating the glucose metabolism, and this will definitely help in how the insulin is going to be released. You're going to increase your intake of the whole grains, so you're going to increase your intake of fiber, you're going to increase your intake of other micronutrients as opposed to the processed and refined carbohydrates. And again, you're also going to teach your body to slow down when it comes to glucose metabolism. Of course, when the products of metabolism and digestion get into the blood system, the body cannot differentiate whether this came from a whole grain or this came from a processed or refined carb. But what taking the whole grain does is actually slow the emptying, and it reduces the amount of carbohydrates or the amount of glucose that the body is going to deal with at a particular time. Another thing, because they have fibers and they have other micronutrients, they are going to reduce the intakes because you're going to be fuller for longer. The frequency of feeds is going to reduce. So you see the amount of times that you're going to spike up insulin secretions is going to be reduced significantly. And again, they buffer because most foods that are rich in fibers, they're going to help you increase intake of the phytonutrients, the micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, and they help you in buffering all these cravings that are caused by inflammation. And we understand that inflammation is a cause of most conditions, including obesity. After your body has learned working with an altered glucose metabolism as opposed to what it was used to, now we reduce the portions of carbohydrates. You remember, your body is still learning. Your metabolism is slowly but surely shifting. So how your body is metabolizing the nutrients is also changing. The good thing with keto, it does not cut off calories. That is very important because when you're increasing the fat intake, you're still going to maintain the calories. With the substitution, we've increased the intake of fibers indefinitely. And now when you come to replacements, we increase the intake of fats. And one thing that you need to do when you want to get into keto fast is increase your intake of fiber and your intake of fats. Remember that we are talking about how to get into keto easy and fast. We've reduced the intakes and the availability of the glucose that is going to be available in the blood for utilization for energy. The body is going to look for mechanisms to ensure that it gets an extra amount of glucose. So that is why the glucagon will be released and it will trigger the conversion of glycogen into glucose in the liver. Now let's say this is week 2, now we are at 45% intake of fat, and then maybe at carbohydrates we are maybe at 40 also, and then you're still working on protein. The body is now applying adaptive mechanism to ensure that it still has glucose circulating in the blood. Now with continuous restrictions, the body is now going to outsource the glucose from protein by a process called gluconeogenesis, making glucose from protein, that is the amino acid, the lactic, and others. And this is where we are now going to start to moderate intake of protein so that we don't have excesses for the conversion to glucose. We still need protein because protein is the nutrient that is tasked with repair, acid-base balance for all the functions of protein. So if we were doing 30% of protein, now we start reducing to maybe 25 until we get to 20. By reducing the protein in your meals, you're going to reduce the amount of amino acids that are going to be available for the production of the new glucose molecules in the body. And this will definitely continue lowering the insulin secretions further. And now the body is going to start to look for fuel because it cannot manufacture, it cannot get glucose from the diet. It has no stores in the liver. It has also no enough amino acids from the protein to make more glucose. So the body is now going to start switching energy sources from glucose to ketones. Now we are successfully into nutritional ketosis. It's a very good state to be at, because at this stage you're going to be having more energy, because fat releases more energy as compared to glucose and protein. If you did it right, you're also not going to get the keto flu, the effect of electrolytes imbalances. You're not going to have all the complications that come with poor planning and a ketogenic diet. So what are some of the things that you can look out for to know if you've gotten into keto successfully? The first thing is energy. You're supposed to be feeling energized, like you're feeling like you're powerful. Your body is a whole powerhouse. You're supposed to also have very good mental clarity. If you had confusions, if you are forgetting things, you're supposed to be sleeping well. If you had problems with your sleep patterns need to improve. Another thing that you can look out for to know if you've successfully gotten into keto is better digestion. A successfully planned keto diet incorporates intake of all the macronutrients, including fiber, and also water intake is encouraged. If you have gut issues or if you have stomach issues, before you start on keto, it will be advisable for you to heal and repair your gut. I did a video on that and I will link it up here so that you can have a look after this. Another thing that you can look out for to know if you've successfully gotten into ketosis is actually weight loss. So if you are obese and your goal was weight loss, of course you are going to experience weight loss. The body is burning fat for energy, and now you will start experiencing losses in your arms, abdominal area, of course, the thighs, the back area, all this. Let me know in the comment section down below some of the struggles that you've had on keto, what you've done to help you adhere to the diet longer, and what you'd like us to talk about on keto. My name is Lilian Momina. I am a registered clinical nutritionist. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. You will be supporting my channel to grow, and it can also spread to others who are looking for information on a ketogenic diet and how to do it in a safe and healthy manner. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button, because over here we post videos every week. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for clicking. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. And until next time, you can check out this video on nutritional deficiencies of a ketogenic diet and how to correct them and learn more about that.